It's 85 degrees here in Bend where I live today, and I thought it was supposed to be nice and cool, but it has not been nice and cool at all. It's very hot. As you can see, I'm sweating like crazy. I just got done trenching this whole entire yard and getting main lines run, and today I'm going to show you the basics of putting in a sprinkler system, and we're going to do that right now. Let's go! So let's just dive right into this. We're gonna go ahead and go to the main valve where I started this project, and that lower line right there, that's where the water is coming in from our pond. And then I added one line that's feeding my front yard here. This valve running that one, we've got a shut off here, but we're gonna run this as a main line coming all the way out to that other hole. So we'll have another junction box with a valve. I need to run pipe down here, so I have 1-inch pipe. I'm going to run all the way down there, and then I've got sprinkler wire so that we can connect our sprinkler wire up to our current sprinkler controller, which I've had forever, and it works awesome. We've never had any problems with it. It just works, and it's super easy to program. I'm not going to get into that today. We're talking about PVC pipe, how to get that connected, how to glue it up properly, and we're gonna do that right now. The way that I dug this trench is I came out to here, and then I'm gonna do a 45 here. I knew that there was a pair of wires coming through here, and it's super shallow, and I knew it. But we need to come in underneath that, come over here, and then go down to that. We're gonna put this 45 degree right here. So the things that we're gonna need are some PVC glue, and then we're going to need some PVC primer. This is the purple primer. I need a saw so I can cut through the pipe, and then I'm going to need these connectors. The other thing that I want to talk about too is this pipe. The main line that I'm running off of my main input here, that's going to go all the way through here, I have too many rocks in here, so I just can't get any deeper. There's just way too many rocks in here. My trencher was going crazy. We are going to bring some fill in here, so this will all get filled in and kind of leveled out, so there will be a lot more soil on top. This is called Schedule 40, and this has actually got like a thicker wall on it, so if it does freeze, it's less likely to break. So I'm going to estimate, I want that to be right there. I want this 45 to be right here. Let's cut it right there. My hacksaw will not cut straight. If anybody knows why that is, tell me, because it's driving me crazy. I have some gloves on now, and the reason you want to wear gloves is because this stuff is just really messy. Now clean off your ends really good. Try to get any dirt that's in there out of there. We're going to turn these on before we put any sprinkler heads on them and just get all the stuff out of them, because I know there's going to be stuff. It always ends up there's a little bit of dirt inside. So we're gonna put this PVC, you want to go all the way around with this. This is the primer. We're gonna let that dry for a second, and you want to try to keep this stuff as clean as possible when you're doing this. It's inevitable you're gonna have a little bit of dirt and getting on the ends or whatever, but as you're doing this, just try to keep it dry. So we're gonna put glue on both sides, and then we're gonna take this and put these two together and give it a little turn, just like that. So twist it a little bit, and then that seals in about 30 seconds. So it doesn't take very long to actually get that to seal up. Now we're gonna do this 45 that we were talking about here. So let's get all the dirt off of it, get all the little burrs off of it. We're going to stick this one on the end here. So let's start off with our primer. Don't skip this step, because this primer actually does clean everything up and make it stick a lot better. Give it just a second there to dry. Doesn't take that long. Throw some glue on that. Throw some glue on that. And then we're going to do the same thing as we did before, where we put it on and give it like a little twist. We want to line that up so that it's shooting down there. That's looking pretty good. Oh yeah, no problem. Let me just push that down. Sorry, camera. So we'll let that dry, and then before we bury it, we'll just step down on that and then fill it in, because it'll definitely go down a lot further. So we want these to be as low as we can possibly get them. The nice thing about these 20-foot lengths is they all have these little bells on the end of them. So you can see how that kind of expands out. And so that means that this next pipe that I have is going to just go right into that bell. So we don't need to have a coupler there. So we're going to prime that. Prime this, just like that. Let it dry and prime or glue that. Dip this in. Let's put a whole bunch of glue on this one. We're gonna push these guys together with a little twist, and you can see how much coverage it goes all the way back into there. So you're gonna get a really good seal. Never have any problems with this at all. When I was putting these together, I got a whole bunch of dirt in the lines. We're gonna do 2 valves right here that are gonna shoot out that way. And I just wanna clear all the junk that we got in this pipe out before I put it into the valves. The valves are pretty sensitive to dirt and grime, and they're super hard to clean out. I'm gonna leave you down here to witness this. You can see how much junk comes out of here. I'm gonna push this pipe down, and when I push it down, it's gonna change how long it is on the very end. Not by very much, but enough where I wanna actually start backfilling this. So I'm gonna backfill probably about 20 feet before we do the next box. Stop there. We'll cut everything, get everything organized there, but I want to make sure that that pipe doesn't move very much after I get the valves put on it. So this will actually keep it from doing that. So when you're setting up your valves, it's pretty basic. These ones are nice because they actually do come with these little couplers if you wanted to downsize, so go down from 1 inch to 3/4, you could do that. We are not going to do that. We're going to keep going 1 inch, so we're going to use these right here. And the thing that you have to remember when you're applying this Teflon tape is that you want to put it on the same way as if you were screwing this on. That way when you want to go right to tighten, left to loosen. So we're going to just wrap it around like this. So when I'm tightening it, the tail end is going to actually be going with the threads as we tighten it. That way it won't like try to bind up. If you put it the wrong way, it'll buckle and it'll peel off as you're screwing it in. If we do it this way, you'll see that I have a little bit of an end right here, but as I'm screwing this in, it's actually going to just flatten this out for me. So we'll put this in just like this. We're going to tighten it up with some channel locks. The thing you got to also remember is once you get this going with this Teflon tape, don't ever back it out. You want to keep it going, tightening all the time, and then that way that seal on that Teflon tape is going to be really good. And I'm running 2 valves over there, so we're going to just repeat this process 2 times. So now you can see as if I was twisting this to the right to tighten this thread, I'm tailing on this side, so it's not going to bind up. so that one's ready to go. We have 2 valves. So what the plan is here, so the valves will go like that. We're gonna have our main water line coming in here. These 2 valves will sit like this. So we just need to cut some little pieces to go here. I have to say that this Teflon tape is not the easiest thing to use. So just be patient with it. Try to keep in mind, right to tight, left to loosen. And then the one more thing that you do want to pay attention to is the flow. There are these little arrows right here. So you do want to make sure that your incoming water is going here and your out is over here, so the flow is going that way. All right, so my trench runs right here like this. So I want my first valve to sit right about here, which means I want to cut this right about here, because once you get that pipe on there, that looks like it's going to fit in there perfectly, and we can cut this right here. Got a little leftover water in there from our little test. This way, when we get into the valve, we're not gonna have any more dirt. The valves are very sensitive to the dirt, so we don't want a bunch of dirt in there. So, but we also need this to be empty so that we can glue these. You don't want to glue anything when it's got water coming out of it. I'm gonna let this drain. I'm gonna make some short pieces to go between here and here. This isn't an exact science, guys, so you can just kind of experiment with whatever works for you. A lot of times when I build these, I try to leave enough room where if I need to, I could cut this in half and put a coupler in the middle if I made a mistake or needed to do something. But this time I don't have the room because I need both of these valves to be right next to each other so I can go up this one trench. So this actually looks like it's gonna be too much, so I'm gonna take a little bit off of that. So we wanna push this in, and then we wanna try to line these up so that they're about the same direction. That looks pretty good. So this way we can just shut this off for now, and then I'll dig this, and then we can put this pipe on for the drain later. I want to have this valve so it's actually sitting pretty flat like that. So I've widened this out a little bit so I can get both of these to kind of do that. Make sure those arrows are pointing that way, because this is the main line where we have the main water coming in, so we want them to go that way. And we'll push it on a little bit sideways here and give it a twist. Slide that on. Give it a little twist. That's pretty good. Those things are pretty close together. I'm pretty happy with that. This guy, give that a little twist. There we go. The other thing I want to talk about really quick is the valve box. And you might say, oh, you forgot to put your valve box in. I didn't forget. I actually have always cut my holes for my valve box afterwards, because this one is configured totally different. I don't want that hole in the middle to be right here, because then I won't be able to get to these valves. So I'm going to cut another hole on the side here so that the valve box sits square like this, so I can reach in and get that or these. This was as far as I was hoping I could make it tonight. I did meet my goal. I'm going to exceed it. It is going to get dark. So I'll do a little time lapse and see how much I can get done. I don't know how much you guys will see of it. I have got all my pipes in. Everything is set, so you can see we've got everything running all the way down. And now I'm filling in. You can see that I've filled all this in back here and this one over here. So now I've got to fill in the rest of this, flatten the ground out, and then we're going to bring some topsoil in and we're going to grade this so that it's nice and flat. Over here, I have a waterfall plan for right here, so I need some power out here. So I've got to power line that's gonna run right along with this here. So those little blue tips are where the power lines or the power adapters will go, like you could see right there, will go on that. And I did a run test and everything ran great. I put some funny pipe here. So just the little adapter that goes on the end there, glue those on, twist that little gray piece on, and then cut a little piece of funny pipe. So now I'll put my sprinkler on the end of this when I'm ready to do that. The nice thing about this is that you can put this wherever you want. So you could spin this back around, put the sprinkler there, or put it back here or over here, wherever you want to. Kind of cool. Let's do another time lapse, finish this bad boy up. Where is my camera? Do with it. There you are. What are you doing in there? So check this out. We got everything covered back in. It looks like we were never here, which is really good. That's the whole idea. We don't have any little trenches or anything that are out of place. So now the only thing left to do is to attach the sprinkler heads. I'm using these Rainbird heads because I've used them before. So it's got this little screw head here. If you turn it to the right, it'll spin more, like further distance. It'll go all the way around and then all the way back. If you turn it to the left, it's gonna do less. So I don't know if you were able to see the indication there, but it's not gonna spin as far, so you could set it up to just spin a little bit. You get one of these guys, you need to buy these. They screw into the bottom here, and when you go to Home Depot and check them out, just make sure that you get the right size, because there are 2 different sizes of these. And then this is where the funny pipe comes in. So the little pieces of pipe that I left sticking out of the ground will just stick right on the end here. So just kind of pushes on just like that. That's really all it takes. That's not gonna come off. I actually had to cut this side to get the other one off. And then you just dig a little hole and you can bury it and put it wherever you want it, and then cover it up with the dirt, so the dirt's right up to here. And if you have grass, just go ahead and leave it up a little bit higher, because your sod will actually be an inch or so. This doesn't have to be super tight on the bottom here, so don't worry about putting Teflon tape on there. At this point, you're already getting water. You're supposed to be getting wet, so don't worry about it leaking a little bit if it does, and typically they don't. So a couple hard days work. It definitely was worth it, because this is gonna last for years and years, and I'm not gonna have to worry about dragging sprinklers around. I gave myself some safety, as far as I put a little safety valve over there just in case I ever want to put water here, if there's gonna be a garden or something. Where I'm standing now will be a patio, and then over here is where we're gonna put the waterfall, right back there by the chicken coop. If you guys wanna see that video, check in. It should be up here hopefully in the next couple weeks. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and you'll see me in the next video.